I just got back from Morocco. I'm not saying it's cold in Ireland, but fucking cold in Ireland. How you doing? Hello, everybody. Hello, Elaine. Hello, Claire. Good rising from Plymouth, Devon. Yeah. Well, I'm back in the west of Ireland. Hope you guys are good. I just got off Plymouth, Devon. Oh, yeah. I always do this. Back in the west of Ireland. I do this every time. Sorry about that. So I just had a meeting about the Morocco retreat. If you guys want to come to that, look, bed hair, brilliant. If you guys want to come to the Morocco retreat, the link's in the description below. It's going to be amazing, actually. The desert is going to be amazing. RP laughed my ass off. Good. That's what this channel's about. Laughing your ass off, isn't it? Hello from Australia. What time is it there? Oh, it's quite late there, isn't it? Who have we got? Kareen Shea. Good morning. Grand Rising, whatever you want to call it. Big love to all from, it's all going quickly now. Loads of people. Hello, Sue Ashwell from Queensland. Are we going to rename that? Dead Reptile Land. How's that? That's a good name for Queensland, isn't it? She's been dead for years. We all know this. Do you see that guy who was shouting at, I don't want to call him Prince, but Prince Andrew. And then he got manhandled by all those people saying, God save the king. And it was really like a really medieval scene. Quite amazing. Everybody going on about Trump and stuff like that. Listen, just chill out. Chill. It's all good. Hello, Louise. Hello, Erin Obst from the Netherlands. I love the Netherlands. I'm going to come over to Amsterdam soon, take my son shopping in those retro shops. They're amazing. And that's the only reason I'm going. There is another reason to go to Amsterdam, and that is to look at the sacred geometry of the Canal system, because that's really interesting. Because every time I've been to Amsterdam, I haven't been to Amsterdam since I learned about that. And I'm very interested to see how they stored the water. Mind you, I was at an event in Ireland recently, and I bought up Tartaria, and on stage, somebody said that was a CIA op 100%. And I looked at him going, I'm not going to argue about this right now because I'm on stage, but I don't think it's a CIA op at all. 80 Bird, how you doing? 1111, cloudy Oxfordshire. Cloudy Island. Yeah, very cloudy. Oh, it's only 8 p.m. in the Sunshine State, Sue. Okay, I didn't realize that. Brooklyn Smith, morning from Arizona, USA. I'm coming to the USA next week. If they let me in. Kathy from Brighton. Oh, I love Brighton. What a gorgeous place. Great. God, I love having breakfast on the front there. It's really fantastic. Kirsty C. Hello. Rewind. Aslan 55. Oh, I got shivers looking at your name, Aslan. Did I tell you about that meditation I did last year? And this lion, this magnificent lion came to me, and it's never left me. It was incredible. Dawn, morning, Mark. Hello, Dawn, morning, rising. You know, who knows what to say these days? Language is being rewritten all over the place. I don't get bogged down in it too much. It's really about intention. But if you understand the way that language has been manipulated, then I think you can kind of, as long as you understand it, then you don't give it the power. Betts Davis, love Arizona. Yeah, well, I'm going to find out. I've never been there. Bob Jenkins from Bonnie, Scotland. Now, is Scotland Israel? That's the chat going on in Telegram. Is Scotland the one that's being saved for last, according to the number 17? That's very interesting, isn't it? Because the PM got signed in, and it wasn't legal, was it? Is she the PM? Did you all see the thing on Telegram I did of the curtsy? She did this curtsy. I'm going to recreate the curtsy that the PM gave to the king. It was shit. It was like she was having a shit. Bob, that's what I'm hearing. Yeah, I'm hearing that too. Very interesting. I mean, the code goes deeper and deeper the more you get into it. And actually, we should just try to enjoy it and stop getting, some people on my Telegram group going, be careful, Mark, be careful. Be careful of what? You're an eternal spirit. What are you scared of? Right. Yes, I'm going to be launching the Morocco retreat today, all being well. And if you guys are on the email list, if you're not on the email list, if you want to come to Morocco, 10 days, Marrakesh, all the way down to the desert, 5 nights in the desert, UFO spotting. I've got healers galore coming. I've got Ian Welch is coming. Abby Wynn is coming. Antonia Harmon's coming. And there's Lucy Davis is coming. And there's a few more as well that I'm going to announce later. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be life-changing. I've just got back from Morocco. It's an amazing, amazing country. If you've never been, you must go. It's Marmite. It's not everybody's cup of tea. When I first got there, I hated it, actually. But I learned to love it. The people are amazing. And down in the desert, we've got the Berbers. We're going to be working with the tribe down there and giving back. We're going to decide what to do when we get there. It's going to be an intuitive healing retreat under the stars. The journey down there is epic. We're going to have a load of 4x4s going down the coast and stopping off on the way. It's just honestly, if you can, I can't do it cheaply. It's not a cheap thing to do. I can't give away places. It's too expensive to do. But it's a life-changing thing. If you've got the money and you want to come along and meet me and meet all the other people and having an amazing time, then I'm going to be launching that later today. Sue says, and they've extended the funeral to 17 days. I mean, 17 everywhere. If you don't believe in all that stuff, then you just missed a meeting, I think, and you're on the wrong channel. Anyway, I've got a great guest today who's been on the show before. She's doing amazing work in the UK and around the world. And she set up the People's Health Alliance, which I think is a fantastic move. And the reason why I think it's a fantastic move is because the title of the last video I did with Katherine Macbean was something along the lines of, just get off your ass and start doing it now, because that's what it's about. God's waiting for us to get off our ass, stand up for ourselves and do something. So here she is. Hello.
Morning, morning. How are you? You're full of it and joys and spirits today. I like it.
I'm actually cold. I'm actually cold.
It's not so bad here over in England. Yeah, t-shirt. Perfect.
Well, no, I mean, it's not cold if you live here, but I've just got back from 40 degree
yeah, I was
heat.
going to say, you've just come from other regions. It's not surprising.
I've just changed jackets because that's a bit too big. I'll just put this one on. That's better. This is my, do you remember Bodie and Doyle in The Professionals? This is my Bodie jacket. My Bodie jacket. Let's get them. Still got a bad throat. I've had a bad throat for about 6 weeks.
Yeah, no, I think, yeah, I've been coughing up some lovely stuff recently. Actually, I haven't, but I feel like it needs to be coughed up.
I think it's clearance. I think we're literally ascending, and things are just like, it's like apples falling off a tree. Yeah. A little bit. I'm saying that because I'm looking at an apple tree with a load of apples on the ground. That's probably why I'm consciously saying that.
No, so it's really fascinating at the moment, actually. This truly is an awakening that is also, we're finding, sorting the wheat from the chaff. The authentic are truly coming through, the genuine or are really coming through strong. And it's a continual development. It's a continual awakening. There is no start and finish at the moment. It is very much, and it's going to a level that I've not experienced ever. So, it's fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. Loving it.
Yeah, it really is. It's been a very, it's the gift that keeps giving. Yeah. 2 years ago, it was like, oh, what are we going to do? And then it was like, right, well, I'm going to start talking about it.
Yeah.
And then, big, it's like being inside an Agatha Christie novel or something. There's just all these twists and turns and people going, oh, you're bad and he's evil and they've gone to the dark side and all this bullshit. It's like, it's amazing. And the egos is, what I'm finding interesting. See, my ego got kicked to death 4 years ago. Right. And I nearly killed myself. It was that hard. And, and I'm finding, people, like I said at the beginning, people saying, be careful, Mark. And I'm like, be careful of what?
Yeah.
What? Because, that's fear porn. Well, it's only fear porn if you're afraid. I'm not afraid. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, we get infiltrated. We get a bunch of rubbish coming our way. And I think the automatic reaction is to go into panic mode. But actually, just deal with it. Deal with it. Move on. Let it go. Crack on with the job in hand. Don't let anything stop you. They want you to stop. And the best way to do that is to make you fearful. But what have we got to be fearful of? If we're all coming together We're all on the same side. We know where this is going. We know there's nothing that can stop what is coming. So enjoy, especially for those of us who've been awake a long time. You know, it's a really good opportunity to finally be in that space that we've wanted to be in for so long. So embrace it, enjoy it. You know, we're absolutely striving ahead. Oh, the energies at the moment as well. I don't know much about this, but I can feel
I've got
tons going on.
As you're talking, that's why I'm stood up at the desk today. I've got one of those uppy downy desks, and this is the first time I've stood up. Well, actually, I did a stand-up one last week in Morocco, but this is the first time at this desk I've done a stand-up in about a year because I've got too much.
Yeah, you're buzzing.
Too much juice. Yeah. Too much juice.
I could always do with more energy, though. I'm not going to lie. Working lots of hours.
I've got more energy than I've ever had.
Yeah, I don't. When I think about, and it's not just me. There's tons of people doing hours and hours and hours of work out here, and you'd think we'd be on our knees. And don't get me wrong, there are days when it takes the life out of you a bit, but to be going and keep going strong and feeling the energy for it and feeling the passion for it and keep building, keep going. There's blocks in our way. We don't let it stop us. We get around it. We keep going. And the energies at the moment, whilst crazy and wild for a lot, if you can embrace it and adopt it to suit you, I think it can be a really, really helpful time to be making things happen.
Well, everything's a test. People have been going on about this happening on that date, this date, and and I just kind of let it all brush off me.
Yeah,
and I just keep going forward and go with the flow. Yeah. And we're still here. Yeah, that's the thing.
And we're good. We're not just here. We're good.
We're doing stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, going to Morocco 2 weeks ago was like, I'll admit there was a little bit of a. I'm going to a country, and I've not, before lockdown, I was flying all over the world, and for 2.5 years I've been stuck in Ireland and the UK, which I've sneaked over to a few times. And it's like, oh God, I'm actually traveling somewhere. Will it be okay? And I had that whole, when you leave the door and you think you got halfway to the airport and you think you've left the iron on, that kind of anxiety.
Bit of anxiety. Yeah.
But I just pushed through. And sailed through, and I was actually in the airport going, I walk with God, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That just brings me more strength, gives me more power to do what I need to do, and know that I'm backed and supported by the energy that I need to be backed and supported by, and just keep going. Just don't stop. There's no need.
Well, it is nice to see you again, and it's been a couple of months. And we talked about, now we're live on YouTube, so we're going to talk in code. But the PHA, what's the website for that, Catherine?
The-pha.org. Nice and simple. We're moving along on that front brilliantly. We're into phase 2 now in terms of website development. So there's more coming on that front. Resources out there for hubs are phenomenal. We're going to be publicizing those this week. Looking at acute care, we've now developed that process. So in terms of PHA, it's all gung-ho. It's all happening. We're consolidating some hubs to make those more effective. So there might be less at the moment, but that's fine. We've got a few hubs now that are opening their doors over the coming weeks, and we've been able to pass on, or starting to now pass on, the first lot of funding from the Power of the Pound campaign to support them getting emergency equipment in there. So there's masses going on. Usual thing, need to engage more people, more resources, more time. But I'll just keep saying it. We do what we can with what we've got to the best of our ability, because that's all we can do. Just keep pushing ahead. But as we're watching the NHS, we know what direction that's going. So the work it's collapsing, it's horrific. And one of the issues is, and yet so many don't see it, but we're hearing it from the inside now, is the lack of staff. And the ones that are off are the ones that, went in there, did it, and as a result are suffering. And it means that, unfortunately, it is those that didn't who are apparently keeping the doors open at the moment. That's not a long-term solution. That is not an ongoing solution. So the work we do now, the foundations we build now for PHA have never been more critical. Never been more essential, be it from that area of just supporting people in terms of building and boosting their immunity, get themselves ready for, tricky autumn, winter, and looking at general health, through to the fact that we are having to now really push hard on acute support at community level.
It's amazing. I mean, I just love the fact you got off your ass and did it. And that's why I'm always happy to have you on, because it's inspirational, and everybody watching this, just what Katherine said, just get up and do something.
Yeah. Lean into your strengths. You know what your strengths are. Everyone knows where their strengths and weaknesses lie. I'm always one, don't try and stick a square peg in a round hole. Lean into where you're strong. And there is a role for everyone. There is something everyone can do within this movement, for want of a better term. If health isn't it, find what does resonate with you and go out and do it. Everyone has a responsibility to do something, and we're all capable of it. And quite frankly, it is empowering. It's exciting. You get to meet like-minded people. It's fun. We really do have a giggle. And yeah, you get to be part of something that's building the next phase for humankind.
Well, I think the important thing there that you said is the getting together, right? Yeah. For me, it's all about getting out there, meeting people. That's why I'm doing this retreat in Morocco. That's why I'm doing this event in Manchester, which sold out in a week on the 6th of November.
Brilliant.
Which is nuts.
Yeah.
That's going to be epic. I mean, epic. I can't tell anybody where it is, but somebody, Joseph D. Lacey, I think that is, writing up our Northamptonshire PHA news as I watch. Awesome things happening here. I was born there.
Northamptonshire.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I was born in Northampton General Hospital, and I grew up in Bugbrook, which is a village down there, which was interesting.
People, I honestly, all over the country, people are stepping up, and it's fantastic. But we need more, and then we need more, and then we need more. I do think this coming autumn, winter, with the general revelations you and I and many others know are coming, and things such as the midterms, but the reality is going to bite in terms of the healthcare solutions. And I think come the end of winter, our numbers are going to be insane, absolutely insane. People will realize how important this is and what difference it makes to every single one of us. We're not here working our butts off just for ourselves. This is about everyone, and we all have a role to play. And like you titled the last one, just get off your ass, do something.
Yeah. I think anybody that's been a viewer of my channel, if you go and watch, if you guys have not seen my interviews with Janice Barcelo, go to themarkoutwardshow.com, click on episodes. In the search bar, put in Janice Barcelo. There's 2 interviews with her there. I first came across her about 10 or 12 years ago. She specializes in talking about birth in the health service and how it is a satanic ritual from day one. And it took me a while to really understand this, but I've had the same aversion with hospitals as I have with churches my whole life. I hate them. Nobody I've ever known, and all the people I've loved that have gone into hospitals never come out. And once you understand that, I mean, I think that's been the amazing thing about the last 2 years. Now we've really seen them for who they are.
I tell you something, the amount of people now, right and wrongly, I'm not here to judge, but the amount of people now who come forward and say, there is no way I would go to the NHS. No way. I'd have to literally be on death's door with no other possible solution before I'd even interact with the NHS again. The level of trust has just been decimated. And it's easy to see why. There's still people within the NHS who apparently haven't figured out what's going on. I find that personally quite hard to understand.
It's mind-blowing.
Just how? Well, when we look at the numbers.
Yeah, well, I used to know this doctor, and I think I just read, I think it's here somewhere. I'd read Andrew, what's his name's book about the V's. Oh, what's his name? Can't remember his name.
Okay.
But he was the doctor that got slagged off for saying there was a link between MMR jabs and autism.
Okay, yeah.
Andrew Wakefield.
Yep.
And I read his book, and I was talking to her about it, and I said, obviously there's a link. And she was like, no, there isn't. There's no link. I went, have you read his book? No, I haven't. I don't need to read it. And I was like, okay, so what do you think it is? She said, we're just better at recognizing the symptoms now. And I was like, what, a 10,000% increase in people getting autism? And I said, well, if that's the case, where are all the old people with autism?
Yeah.
And she just blanked me and carried on. And I was like, wow, the brainwashing is unbelievable.
Yeah.
This was like 10 years ago, this chat. And we're just seeing it now. So I just don't. How do you think they've got away with it? Because
it's the brainwashing, Mark. It's the
is it
brainwashing. But it goes back to
just the brainwashing? Is it just the brainwashing?
To a degree, I think certainly, because I was speaking with Dr. Dave Cartland the other day, and we were on a good old chinwag as we tend to do. And he was saying, looking back now at his training, looking back now at that indoctrination period, he said it's just instilled, it's banged in from day one. And whilst there are, GPs, for example, are supposed to take a holistic approach, there's really not much focus on that. And there's certainly no caretaking done that's what's being the case. It's moved very much more onto this a pill for every ill situation. So there's got to be an element of that. But I also think that there are plenty of medical workers who know exactly what's going on. And what we need to see is some bravery. What we need to see is people not just thinking about themselves and their own personal situation, but actually putting the greater good, if you like, above that need. There's a number of us who've done it, and there's a number of people out there who've been immensely brave. But if you are working within the NHS and you know damn well what's taking place, you have a moral responsibility to say something. You have a moral responsibility to flag this at the highest level you can and bring it public. There are groups like us out there that will support you. There's others out there I know of that we can connect you with. But yeah, we need more people to step forward and say, I know what's going on. I see it happening. We need to do something about this.
Yeah, and there are, somebody just said in the comments, there are good people in the NHS and other health services. Of course there are. There's a lot of people that have, deliberately missed it and done stuff like that with it, which is great, right? Because that is the human race doing our bit. In fact, I did a talk in Ireland about 3 weeks ago, and there was a lovely woman stood there next to me. She came over and said, "Oh, what's your channel?" And I went, "Hello," and she said, "I'm a nurse," and I was like, "Oh," and then she here in Ireland, and she described how she's the only one. Yeah. Right, in this hospital, in this town. And what they did is they just literally put her outside in a shed for 6 months. And she was just doing paper. She's a nurse, and she was just doing paperwork for 6 months. And then she's fighting them. And so if anybody's watching this that is in the health service, take them to court, sue them, right? That's how we're going to bring this system down.
Yeah.
And I say this as somebody, former socialist, former Labour Party supporter in my 20s, right? Who believed that the NHS was a fabulous idea.
Yeah.
Health for all.
I went out and protest marched for them, Mark, years ago. I've been a massive proponent of the NHS. My mum was a nurse in the NHS for 35 years. This isn't an attack on the NHS. This is an attack on those who are moving the NHS in the direction it's going. But those that work there and know, you need to come forward, and you're not alone. You are not alone by far. There is so much support for you. Absolutely.
Yeah, I did a video about 2 years ago, early on this channel, some BitChute. I think I didn't put it on YouTube for obvious reasons, and I just asked a question. You're either a collaborator, like there were collaborators in France with the Nazis. Who collaborated? Because they were like, "Oh, I'll go this side because this is the winning side."
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Are you fucking nuts? You got to be on the side of right. It doesn't matter.
The sad thing is, this whole process has actually shown us the ones that would have happily been, showing where the Jews were hidden.
Yeah, I know. It's the same thing. It's exactly the same thing. I remember as a kid. And I'd be like, hand up to the class, "Miss, how did they get away with this?" And I actually remember saying to my history teacher something like this. I was like, she just taught us all about propaganda, shown us Nazi propaganda and all that. And I put my hand up and I said, if it was that sophisticated in the 1930s, how good must it be now? Yeah. And she went, "Shut up, Mark, just do you."
Well, we've got evidence of that now. It's been bloody brilliant, quite honestly, how they've pulled it off. I mean, you can't escape that. They've done an incredible job here of creating this. I just feel very, very blessed that I'm one of the ones that could see through it all.
Me too. I saw through it. I knew it was coming, and when it came,
I was waiting for it.
I know, and I was like, "Wow, they're actually doing it."
Yeah, this is it. This is it. Yeah.
But then I had this revelation. I don't know if I said this the last time I spoke to you, but I stood here in this room going, hang on. If the bad guys are in control, we'd already be dead.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized,
this is all the awakening. This is all the awakening. It's engineered this way. It's supposed to happen this way. That's when people are looking at the darkness, there's a reason it feels dark. And that's because we have to, create this revelation and awakening for those that are fast asleep. It has to be this way. And it is a long, drawn out process. And for those of us waiting, you do want to sometimes smash your head into a wall that it's taking so long. But it has to be this way. And what comes out the other side is going to be incredible.
Yeah, somebody said in the chat, it's like, we're in the birthing tunnel and it's dark as you're giving, if you're a baby, on the way out.
Yeah,
and suddenly, whoa!
Here we are. Yeah, it is. It's a birthing. And let's face it, giving birth, isn't it the most painless and, smooth transition?
Yes, it is.
How many babies have you had?
I have proof.
Okay.
I have 5 children.
Yep.
First one was emergency cesarean, which was horrific. Second one was a VBAC, which was an incredible lesson because they would not let my wife do it. But she was amazing. She was no, I'm doing
Empowering. Yeah.
Which was amazing. So this is how I knew Janice Barcelo, because it's not my wife did all the research, and she did what she did was incredible. We're not together, but I still respect,
of course,
110% what she went through, and I was with her through this process. So no, I didn't give birth, but through that process, this is where I really got into it, because the third birth was a home water birth, which was the most beautiful.
Yeah, my
it
second
was so beautiful. I mean, it wasn't painless.
No, he was £10 too. It smarted a bit.
Smarted, I like
just
that.
A bit. But even though he was ginormous, it was by far and away my most peaceful birth. And I caved in back then. Because obviously it was years ago before I learned so much, because my end goal after all this is said and done is to be a doula. It's something I feel quite passionate about. It's something I'm really passionate about. And I'll be working with Nikita Stark. She's one of our partners.
You know Nikita, yeah?
Yeah, she's bloody brilliant. Love what she says. Love what she does. Totally in line with how amazing. I see things. But that was my most peaceful birth, having my son at home. Yet he was £10 too. So it wasn't a small baby, but it was just amazing.
Well, the fourth birth was even better. The fourth birth was twins.
Wow.
And they were the first all-natural birth of twins in the UK in 40 years.
Really? Wow.
And it was completely painless because it was an orgasmic birth.
Now I've heard about this. I kind of wish I'd known about that back then.
Well, it was all theory until she did it.
Yeah.
And she spoke to Michel Odent, who's the French guy that came up with this concept. The second purpose of the orgasm is to allow you to have a painless birth. So this whole thing about birth being painful is propaganda as well.
Yeah.
I've witnessed it. I've witnessed it.
Wish I was young enough to try it again.
Well, yeah, well, if the med bed's real, you can go back to being 21 and start shagging again.
I don't know if I've got it in me to do it again. We're all starting from scratch. But there's part of me that wishes...
Painless.
I would definitely love with my daughters to help them with their birthing in the future, and help them realize all the things that have been lost through the NHS, through this kind of allopathic approach, and very much more like Nikita and the others out there who are working so hard to bring back the power to women for natural births, and working with them. If a woman wants to go and give birth in a wood, let her. If a woman wants to go and give birth in a river, let her. The mum knows. Let her listen to her body. Let her listen to her instincts. Allow her the freedom to do. We know, we women, if there's a problem, we know.
Yeah.
But it's supporting women to understand their power and listen to their body, and that's okay. That's enough. You don't need a doctor dictating it to you. 9 times out of 10, I'm sure everything's going to be fine. And if they're not, then there's always going to be people on hand who can help.
Well, this is why I've done shows on birth on this channel, because it's fundamental.
Yeah.
To once you understand that the interdimensional reptilians controlled by the AI are basically after your soul. This is a soul farm. Once you understand that, and you then look at the process, well, from birth, from cradle to grave. You know, what is the system that we've been living in, right? You get born in a fucking hospital with full of drugs and pain and greed, and it's all horrible. And then there's this satanic ritual where they're actually separating you from your soul at birth, even before birth. And then they've got you in this whole system where you're indoctrinated for the next 14 years, 15 years. And then you go to work with a mortgage, which is death grip in French, right? And you're just paying that off, and then you're dead.
Yeah, I know. This is why when people say, you know, it's all very good, you, Catherine, come up with these ideas for farming and these ideas for health and everything else, but it's going to take a lot more time in people's lives to be able to live this way. And actually, it's like, no, this is a societal issue. We don't just have to change food. We don't just have to change the way we look at health. We have to change everything in society, in how we function. People who believe that going to work 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, in a job you hate is living, do not understand the bigger picture. And it's an opportunity for us now to change that and show people there is another way. And we need to look at education. We need to look at everything. And we start here. We start here. We've got to have a starting point. So let's just grow from here.
Yeah, I mean, that's why, you know, you guys watching, if you've not looked at my course on how to be sovereign and stuff, it's called How to Monetize What's in Your Head. There's a free webinar in the link below. If you can't afford it, I don't charge you for it, and I don't even check. So go and do that. That's 5D business. There's also a course there on Maximize the Light, which we've had 1,500, 2,000 people on that course. And the testimonials are mind-blowing because Jeremy Ayres, I think I tried to introduce you to him.
Yeah,
he's a genius with the protocol that he's put together, and people are reversing diabetes, arthritis, getting more energy, gaining weight if they're underweight, losing weight if they're overweight. It's just extraordinary.
And there's so much that is going to come out in terms of technology available and things that at the moment have been kind of pushed into a dark corner. That's all going to come into the light, and
things like this. You know, I wear this every day. I'm trying to turn it on though. Can't. I did a show on this last week, a couple of weeks ago. You know, lights.
Yeah.
This, you know, it cleans your blood.
Frequencies, vibrations, sound, light, all of it is going to come in to play a role in future healing. And it's all there. We just need to make sure it's brought into the light. And I don't doubt for a minute over the next few years, all of this is going to come to fruition.
Well, it was always there. I mean, you know, Tesla, violet ray machines, scalar energy. I've got all of that here. And I've been teaching people about frequency for the last 2 years, and I'm not an expert.
No.
But I've healed people of amazing, you know, I'm a healer.
Yeah.
Who knew? Yeah. I thought I was a marketing expert. I'm a fucking healer.
Well, when we've got the time and space, and I mean, I found it, others will find it, but we need to create that time and space between us to allow people to find what it is that resonates, what they're passionate about. Because if you love what you do, you never have to do a day's work again. You know, it's becomes part of your lifestyle. It becomes part of what you're passionate about, and you build that in. And that is how we need to move forward as a society.
I had that conversation with my daughter this morning. I was like, she was going, I was talking about my son, and she said, because I gave my son a course. My son left school early because he wasn't happy, and it was all during this. And I said, you don't have to do this. You know, I've said this before, but I'll say it again. I've employed 300 people plus in my time, in my business career. I never checked a CV once, but they're all brainwashed into, they're terrified of their exam. I mean, people commit suicide over fucking exams.
I'm actually, funny you should bring this up. I'm actually just had an argument with the local council because my son wanted to go back to school. So I said, all right. He's entering what will be year 10, and he's been homeschooled for the last year and a half. And I said, but he pushed and he pushed. I said, fine. Okay, he lasted 1 day, and I went in there. I mean, I was furious. I have issue with teachers who were clearly probably bullied at school themselves, but actually use this opportunity to become bullies, and the way they teach. So we went in, sat in reception, and one of my son's little friends, sweet little girl, saw him. She just came in, sat quietly next to him, and said, "Oh, how are you feeling? Are you looking forward to it?" A minute later, this teacher walks in. I won't name names, but she walks in, totally ignored me and said, "Right, are you so-and-so?" And he said, "Yes, hello, hi." And she's just turned to this girl and said, "What are you doing here? Get out. You're not supposed to be here. What on earth are you playing at?" And this girl was just like, "Oh, sorry, miss. I just wanted to say hi and check he was okay." And she said, "Right, get out." Now, inside, I was just thinking, it's his first day. Just control yourself. It's his first day. The girl went to walk into the corridor as instructed, and this teacher pulled her back 2 steps away and said, "No, go out through that door, go through the main entrance." And I thought, you effing. It was all I could do to not stand up and say, right, you want to bully someone, sunshine? Let's go. Let's pick on someone who owns. I mean, I was absolutely riled. Yeah, exactly. Morpheus moment. And she just, I had to keep my mouth shut because it was his first day, and it took everything. I'm a gobshite, so it took everything in my power to not say
That's
something.
what I like about you.
He came, and at the end of the day, it's like, Mum, by the end lesson, it was double geography. He said I was losing my mind. And I said, yeah, this is why you don't have to go to school. So now he's at home. We do some basic stuff, but he's now looking at what skill he'd like to learn. Would he like to be a bricklayer? Would he like to be a farrier? Would he like to be an electrician? Whatever it might be, find your passion, son, and lean into it. And they need that space to be able to do that. And at least I know my kids aren't going to be indoctrinated. They're free thinkers. One of the reasons they don't get on at school.
Well, that's the transition. I said to my son, what do you want to do? He said, I want to sail the world. I went, brilliant.
Crack on.
Go and learn sailing.
Yep.
So he got, that day I rang up a sailing club. He got an apprenticeship. Boom. He became the youngest guy. He became the youngest guy to do the Round Island yacht race this summer. And I'm like,
incredible.
Fantastic. And now he's getting his offshore. Before he's 18, he's got a fucking amazing story to tell.
Yeah. That's what I want for my kids. That's the difference, isn't it?
Well,
and they don't get that opportunity while they're at school. It's not going to happen. Yeah. We're not quite there yet. He's 14, but
that's what I said to him. I said, you've got to have stories. If you haven't got stories, you've got no chance.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
it's finding their passion.
Yeah. And it's about, and I love this, women becoming women, men becoming men again, because I'm an alpha male, right? And women should be women. And we are different, and we'll work perfectly together when we understand that.
Yeah, agreed. 100%.
Being crashed out of us with, they're teaching fucking transgender shit here, and
I can't do with it.
Oh God.
And my kids, they actually come up to me, Mum, and they're like, really? There's another sexuality now. There's another gender now. I mean, they've sussed it out for themselves, but a lot of children, unfortunately, but their mind haven't been in school, having it flipping pummeled into them. I've given them the space to be free thinkers, and I've always raised them that way. And I am very grateful that I woke up and was able to do that for my children.
Same here. But it's been a battle. My eldest daughter, especially, is always quoting shit she's seen on here, and I'm having these, fights with her about what's right and wrong, and what's, is that racist, is that sexist, is that homophobic? It's really because that's how they do it. They just they put you in a pot to really just confuse you.
Yeah,
and you don't want to be seen, and the pressure is amazing on the kids, and it's I keep saying
it's so unhealthy. Oh my goodness. I mean, mental health problems, thanks very much. No, kids do not need that pressure at that age. No. Give them the space to find out who they are. Give them the space to find what makes them passionate. They need that time. And if they're constantly just studying for exams and the pressure on the exams, oh God, no.
That's why I've done this before, but that's why I keep thinking back to Tony Blair going, education, you fucking fascist bastard.
I cannot refer to him as his name. To me, he's the devil's whore and always will be.
He's a monster, absolute monster.
Vile.
And I remember dancing in the bloody streets when he got elected.
Well, we've all been down that socialist route at one point, I think. We thought something new was coming, and it turns out he was just actually the king of evil.
Well, same as Obama.
Yeah.
I was dancing in the streets when he got elected. I feel like such an idiot. But
I think we've all been there, my darling. We've all done it, but fine. We're here where we are now. We went through that for a reason. Look at what we know and look at what we can achieve now when we come together. It's incredible.
Susan Appley's just said, I'd like to know how to contact Katherine. Please go to the-pha.org.
Yeah, crack on. That's fantastic. I want to quickly, though, mention food and farming, because that is the next big thing.
Yeah. Well, I was coming to that.
I'm sorry. I'm naturally very...
Whose show is it?
Yeah, sorry about
that. Get on with it. Go on.
So super exciting, actually, because this is something I've been passionate about for decades. I woke up in the grocery and agricultural field. That's what woke me up. Not very exciting story, but it is the truth.
Sorry. Did you just say you woke up in an agricultural field?
So basically, I was working in grocery. It was my client was in grocery. So I was working with producers for supermarkets at the time. And I used to watch the supermarkets come in and do the audits. And this is going back to late 90s, early 2000s. and I'd see just the hoops these producers had to go through. The dominance these organizations had, your Tesco's and your Asda's and so forth, the way they dictated how things needed to be done, the investment they forced these people to have, and the way they wrapped it up in language, because, you know, I could see the language. I've been in marketing for years. I could see the language. And basically the brainwashing was taking place, but it meant that monopolization, that control element. And I just watched it grow. And then off you go down the rabbit warrens, you find the Monsantos and the Bayers, and you go on from there. And we all know what that looks like. So for me, it's something I've always been passionate about. And it's been about how do we fix this? And I could see us going down this monocrop culture, this monoproduct culture, which is so destructive for the soil. And really just, you know, what's that doing for the farmer? They're fully controlled through there. They've got one route to market predominantly. So for me, it's about changing it and creating new models. So what we've done is we've leaned back into tradition. So we've created a blueprint, which is being finalized at the moment. We don't launch the 24th of this month, so it's all go, 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 but we're creating a blueprint and we're splitting it into 3. Grow your own. So supporting people, everybody, to grow their own, and how they go about that, and how to extend that to 12 months of the year, and what they need to do to store and all that good stuff. The second one is about community growing groups, how we come together as a community, what we need to look at and be aware of, looking at all the different levels of protein, the practicalities behind it, and so on and so forth. And then the third level, which is the real game changer, is working with farmers and large producers and how we support them. So we've got a number of different ways to look at that, but the fundamentals come back to diversifying how a lot of these farmers work, which is going back to more traditional roles in terms of mixed farming, the Norfolk 4 crop rotation systems, things like that. So we explain that through the blueprint, but it gives the farmer, A, the opportunity to heal the soil, B, to improve animal healthcare, C, it's actually diversifying their routes to market, because they're going to have multiple routes to market, and also how they do that by working with the community, and the community coming on board to help alleviate the issues with labor and energy costs. So we've looked at all that, including business models, distribution, how we get mobile meat feed mixers in there, how we do mobile butchery, because DEFRA and the likes will bring down that power. And the way they'll do it is through multiple routes that the farmer's reliant on. So it's about taking back control and being more self-sufficient at that community level, working directly with farmers. So all that good stuff happening. But the biggie for us, the big USP for PFFA, is we are bringing in, and it's about 6 to 8 weeks away, we're bringing in our own accreditation. So we're going to do that to the Red Tractor, the Soil Association, the Organic Association, who are so restrictive on farmers. They charge them a fortune. They give them bureaucracy for the sake of bureaucracy. We are going to use a common sense approach, accreditation, which is going to allow for a transition period for farmers, because they can't just suddenly drop everything and lo and behold, they're beef farmers and they do arable and blah, blah, blah. So we're allowing for that transition and supporting farmers. And actually the supermarkets can go screw themselves, because what we're going to do is make it transparent for consumers, easy for farmers, build that communication. And what we're going to do is take out the distribution, take out the supermarkets, and make sure that farmers have easy access to communities. We need to revolutionize how we do food. We need to start cooking from scratch, and we need to kick out the crap that's coming through the supermarkets, which is now going to include GMOs that do not have to be labeled, or they'll be labeled something else, which is now being called biofortified. I think that's the terminology that's going to be used. Biofortified.
More satanic.
You know not what crap is being put in this food. And in all honesty, let's go from field to plate as quickly as we can.
Yeah, I mean, I 100% agree with you. I mean, the farmers have been so royally fucked.
Yeah.
Especially by the EU. The EU has destroyed Ireland. Right, I've just seen it. I've spoken to farmers here. They're absolutely. They get paid more.
Those guys are up against it the most at the moment in terms of this region of the world. The Irish farmers are really having a tough time.
Yeah, they want to destroy the whole thing. I mean, you know, the government here decided to import like 1 billion tons of beef from Brazil, right? And all the Irish farmers have got, what? We've got the greenest land. We've got great cows. What the fuck are you doing? But they've just allowed it to happen. And that's what I've liked about the Dutch farmers in the last few months. They've really gone no fucking way, you know, and they've really stood up. And I think there's a good reason for that. It's because those guys' ancestors are the ones who literally held back the ocean to create the most fertile land in the world. I mean, I think they're the second biggest food exporters in the world.
Massive. Yeah.
And their spirit, you know, that runs through their blood. You cannot put the Great Reset on the Dutch farmers. It's just not going to happen. all farmers of the world should stand up against all of this shit and follow Catherine's work and start doing it locally. I tried to buy as often as possible I found this amazing farm down here that really takes care of its animals and does everything organically. So I've got a freezer full of meat from him. And, if you can do that, if you've got the money to do that, I know my mum always moans and says, oh, it's too expensive. But I tell you what, the truth, I went to visit my mum a few weeks ago and we went into the butchers, brilliant butchers. They've been in family business for 60, 70 years and they make phenomenal pies and stuff like this. And I said, look at this liver. It cost, it's like £1 for a big bag of liver. And she went, oh, I've not had liver in years. I said, because they don't sell it in the supermarket. Right. I said, how much do you pay? Because in her head, she thinks it's more expensive there than it is at the supermarket. But the truth is, it's nothing to do with the expense. It's the fucking convenience. But when you go in to a supermarket, I mean, anybody who doubts how evil the supermarkets are, just go and look at Tesco's Christmas ad when Santa Claus held up his fucking pass. I was like,
Tesco's are actually signed up WEF members.
Yeah, of course.
Don't believe me, go and look on the website. They are signed up. They're bringing in all this ID stuff, the photography, faces, blah, blah, blah. They're bringing in all this crap. We want to move away from that, and we need to do it now.
Do it right now.
Their power. And
right now.
In terms of those that feel that, the veg box schemes, your local butcher, greengrocer, fishmonger, and so forth is expensive, through the schemes that we're using with PFFA, and this is about working with our partners as well in terms of distribution, the more people that do it, we flood the market with these products in your local community, the price comes down. You can negotiate. One of the models that we've set up is that people in the community come together, and this is taken from Julian Rose. He's part of the Hardwick Alliance. They've been doing it for years. And what they do is they negotiate with the community at the village hall once a year with the parish, saying, right, what do you want us to sow for this year? What can you tell us you're going to want? Blah, blah, blah. They're real communication. So they're growing for their community needs. And it's a mixed farm approach. They're looking at all the products that can come out of it. And if you're supporting that with your Grow Your Own and your community gardening groups, we are going to flood your local community with fantastic, clean, natural produce. And it's not going to cost a bomb. There can be exchanges. There can be, you get a glut of something. It's like, well, you in that village over there, you've got a glut of potatoes. We've got a glut of onions. Fancy doing some swapsies. There are so many ways we can approach this, and we can do it together. And you'll know the quality is good. You'll know that the type of farming and producing is being done in a way that is healing the soil, is good for the animal health and welfare. All of this, there's so much we can do.
And, it's easily reversible because look how quickly it happened. I mean, when I talked about the village I grew up in. I grew up in a house, and I went in the garden. It was quite a long garden, greenhouse, vegetables, everything, right? Fruit tree. We literally lived off the garden, and everybody had. This is like in the 1970s, right? It's not that long ago.
And everyone does
everybody grew their own.
Yeah.
There were no big fences anywhere, right? Now I go back to that village. Nobody knows who their neighbors are.
Yeah.
The local butchers are shut. The veg shops are shut. They all get in their cars and drive 10 miles to Tesco's.
Yeah.
And then drive back. They don't speak to anybody.
Yeah.
Oh, it's all gone. But
we forget the healing that can take place by being out in nature, working in the garden, getting your toes in the soil, being out there, getting the fresh air and exercise. It is such a good healer for us as individuals. It's so good for us. And we're looking at if you're living in a flat in a town, in a city, yes, it's a little more difficult for you. There are things you can do. So we're looking at hydroponics and aquaponics and how we can get excess food into the towns and cities. But there are still things you can do. You can still connect with your community. You can come up with ideas together and work together. And that is one of the reasons the models for PHA and PFFA are so valuable, because it is about bringing those communities back together, about that communication and taking our power back together, away from those central bodies. It's been done on purpose. Don't let them win. Don't let them try and win. They're not going to win, but don't let it be easy for them. It's now time to take back your power, take them out of the equation, and work with those around you. And we can do it. We will do it. It's coming.
I agree. I was just thinking back to I also said to my daughter this morning, I said, by the time I was your age, I had about 10 jobs.
Yeah.
Right. Because I was doing all sorts. I used to work on the farm, right? I did the hay baling, right, which was the best fun.
Oh,
especially if you could get a girl in the barn. But
yeah.
I grew up on Carry On movies. I'm a bit like, but I got paid I think like 10p for turkey plucking per turkey, and I walked 5 miles in the snow to get there and 5
Yeah.
miles back. I just remember being really happy. But then I did work at Tesco when I was a student. I did a summer at Tesco's stacking shelves, and it was the most gruesome job ever. It was like an 11-hour shift, 14-mile cycle ride there and back. I used to cry myself to sleep. I hated it. And I hated that company.
Yeah. And, this is what.
But they won't let. Sorry, what I was going to say, Catherine, is they won't let the kid here.
No.
Kids, they won't let them do it because of insurance. That's the cover story, which means the kids are not connected to anything anymore because they don't know where the food's from. They don't understand any of it. They don't get.
I remember I lived by a farm. This is only going back about 8 years ago, and they used to do school visits. So kids from primary schools and senior schools could come onto the farm, meet the animals, that sort of thing. And sometimes they come out of towns or cities. And the farmer said to me the amount of times that honestly the kids come out from the towns and cities, and such things like they believe that chocolate milkshake can only come from brown cows. I mean, I'm not even shitting you. They think chocolate milkshake comes straight out the cow, but it has to be one of the brown ones. This is what we need to do. We need to engage our young people with that food source. And while doing so, like you said, working outside, getting the physical exercise, there's fun, it's just wonderful. And we surely all have to be looking for some equity in terms of health and happiness. And happiness is so key. And so many of us aren't happy. How many people can literally sit down and say, I'm truly happy? I'm fortunate I am. Yeah, I'm fortunate I am. But realistically, how many people out there are? And that's a very key point of everything we do, is bringing back equity in health and happiness.
Yeah. Don't take this outside. Turn off the TV. Don't read the newspapers. Get outside. You'll find people. What I'm loving is that the more I'm traveling, the more people I'm meeting that are, I really quite enjoyed this in Morocco because I found out something that I didn't expect. Because if you're in Morocco, is quite interesting in many ways, but you can go through a village that just looks like ramshackle, homemade breeze blocks, half-finished houses, dust everywhere. And in the middle of every village is this big bright building with pharmacia on it.
Right.
The money's there, right?
Yeah.
And I remember a guy who worked for me had a baby about 6 or 7 years ago, and the doctor terrified his wife and said, "Look, you must have baby milk, formula, right? You must have it." And it was costing her £10 a day for it, or something ridiculous, and he was only getting paid £7 a day.
Right.
So we ended up, well, again, my wife did a campaign to buy some goats, and we bought goats, and she had goat's milk.
Brilliant.
And I thought that this would be like everybody would have taken it over there, but I found out a lot of them went, "No, we're not doing that." But they had Gestapo coming round with list of names and forcing people to do it and stuff. And the old people are the ones that tended to take it. But I was quite amazed that a lot more people didn't do it.
Good.
Which is great. But I realized that when I was there, because I was trying to grow. I had a big garden. I was trying to grow organic stuff. I set up a little permaculture garden. And, I was doing all that stuff. But to get the seeds, you go to the local souk, and the seed shops. I was like, oh my God, they're all Monsanto. All of them. And they've got no choice. And they're all sat there eating GMO food, even though it looks all organic and all laid out in the markets and stuff like that. It's everywhere. They have royally fucked everybody, and people just.
But we can bring it back. It's not too far gone. We've got access to heirloom seeds. We are looking at seeds as part of our phase 3. It's something we feel very passionately about, is making sure that seeds are accessible, not only to us end users, if you like, but to farmers that are heirloom, that work with their climate, their environment in their area. And it's going to be a massive part of the project, is to clean the seeds, is to save the seeds, is to make sure that we have the seed exchanges available, the seed swaps available, so people can just take out the seed merchants that are there to control it and bring in their nice little GMOs when they want to, and eradicate the need for them. These hybrid seeds that are just pumped full of crap, not all of them are, but those that are, we need to eradicate them from the marketplace. And certainly the farmers we work with, we will be encouraging them, you need to move away from this now.
Three words that could save the human race. Read the label.
Yeah. Yeah, well, read the label, but unfortunately, you're going to have to understand what these bio-fortified bloody foods are going to make. This is the trouble, the language they're going to use. And now that I don't know enough about this act now, I'm investigating it, but they're bringing in an act which means that they can just change the language they use. So you actually haven't got a clue what it is you're going to be putting in your body. So another reason to buy straight from source. Go and see it growing on the land. Go and see it grazing, that animal. There are so many ways we can protect ourselves, but we do it at community level. We do it together, and we do it with a bit of fun as well, because that's so important. It is about having fun. And I'm finding, I don't know about you, but I mean, I've been online hammering the social. I'm not so much now, but I was doing it for years and years and years. Now I'm so not interested. I want to get out there, boots on ground. I want to meet people. I want to share with people. I want to exchange energies. I want to interact with you and make plans. And I think we're seeing quite the shift now, that people who have been, if you like, the keyboard warriors for years are now going next level. They're like, no, that's not enough. I need to be getting out there. And that's what we want. That's what we need, is people going and meeting each other and making it happen together. And we are going to drive this. We're going to bloody make it happen. Absolutely.
Oh, I get the shivers when you speak like that.
It is exciting.
Have you got a website yet for this?
So no, that'll be ready on the 24th. I said 24th, didn't I? It is 24th when we launch. So we're rapidly doing that in the background, like everything we do. This is volunteer based, people led, organic, no funds, no nothing. We're going to be launching our fundraiser today, just to start getting some money in, because we want to buy a forum. We want to build a forum on a private server for farmers to talk, where they have some privacy and, they can be talking amongst themselves and organising. We've got the website costs that we're absorbing at the moment personally, but really people shouldn't be having to do that. We want to start paying people as well, because there's so much to do. We want to find ambassadors for every region to go and help farmers with this accreditation, with them making it a practical solution, and reaching out. There's so many things that are going to cost money. Again, we're doing it on a teeny budget at the moment, ridiculously sized budget. By the time we go to launch this again, we probably would have done it on about 200 quid. So, it shows what we, the people, can do, though, when we get our asses in gear. However, the practicalities being that we will, over the next day, you'll see, little begging posts on our social media, because we do need a bit of funding. So if you can dig in, please do.
Where is your social media?
So we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram. It'll all be we're on Getter and on Truth. Telegram, and it's all, the Telegram is absolutely live. That's our main channel, and it's all under the People's Food and Farming Alliance, the People's Food and Farming Alliance. As soon as the website's launched, we'll get that out on the socials on our launch day on the 24th of September. It is all hands on deck. None of what we put out there is a finished product. None of what we get out there is done. It's a grow as we go situation, like everything we do, because of the way we have to function, which is fine. And we've already got planned in phase 2, phase 3, and phase 4. So we'll be coming at you with phase 2 as soon as we've launched, and we're starting to push hard on the accreditation. Once that's done, that is a game changer for everyone.
Amazing. And when you've got those links and stuff, send them to me, and I'll email them out and put them all over wherever I can. You guys watching, make a note of it, of the date, so that you can go and look for it when it's ready, and go and join the Telegram channel, which is the People's Health and Farm Alliance.
So the People's Food and Farming Alliance. And then if you are interested in the health side, it's the People's Health Alliance. And the website for that one is the-pha.org. We're just making second phase updates there. So you're going to find all the acute care support on there, all the hub listing of support on there. We're writing up other documents to help. There's a massive amount now coming as part of that phase 2. Because again, it's organic. We grow as we go. And this is volunteer based. So it's not like anything we've seen before.
Yeah, if you're watching this, you want to get involved, just get involved.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, what else are you going to do? Watching me? Boring. Go and do that. do you remember Why Don't You?
Boring is never a word that can be used for you, Mark.
Well, do you remember that? Do you remember Why Don't You, the TV series?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, well, it used to crap me up, because the theme tune was like, why don't you switch off the television set, go do something less boring instead? Yeah. And I was like, okay. So I turned the
My
sister
turned the
TV off and went out and played.
Yeah, we used to do that every week. Every time we watched it, we'd do the wording for it. But I remember exactly what you mean. But it is. Now's the time. Social media is going to give you so much. And I'm not saying for a minute, don't be on there and don't do the keyboard warrior bit. But go out and speak to real people. Go and connect with your community. Go and find your other warriors that are, your neighbor warriors. They're out there. And it's every day goes past, that number's going to grow. You do not open your eyes and then close them again. It just can't happen. Go and find them, connect with them. You're going to feel so much better as well, having people around you who are all on the same kind of level, It's going to make a difference to your life. So go and connect and then do something.
It starts with all of us standing up. It's like, if everybody picked up one piece of litter a day, there's no fucking litter left.
Yeah.
Simple.
We've all got a role to play.
We're all part of this. Yeah. Brilliant. Lovely to speak to you. Have a fantastic day. Yeah. Well, I do my best. Sorry.
No, thank you so much for having me, Mark. It's always a pleasure to come on here. It's the first time I've talked about PFFA. So I said to my friends,
cool.
I said to my colleagues, I said, I'm really glad it's Mark popping my PFFA interview cherry, because I said he's quite laid back. So I'm really pleased it's him. So, but there'll be more to come. I'm filming with the lovely Pam Gregory tomorrow and others that are filming. Sonia Polton later this week. So keep an eye out.
Both of them.
I will.
I'd like to interview both of them.
Oh, okay. I'll let them know.
Because I followed Sonia years ago. She's brilliant, and Pam's amazing. Yeah. Sometimes I think they're too big for me, so I don't ask them.
No, I think they'd be more than happy to do it. And you're an absolute delight, Mark. And you're just gonna have to watch your P's and Q's with lovely Pam, because I
know. Yeah.
She's adorable.
She's adorable, but I wouldn't swear in front of Pam.
No, I don't. I can't. Yeah, that's why I think I was happy with you first, because it's like, no, I can completely not worry about that. But with Pam, it's like, no, she's my elder and a respect, and I behave much better with Pam.
Well, you have to, because she's like the best school mistress ever.
She's brilliant. I absolutely love her.
I'd love her as a head teacher. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I've met her, and she's as adorable as you would expect her to be. She's a wonderful human being. But the second, I hope she doesn't mind me saying this, but I met her. And as she was going to say goodbye, we'd been at a beautiful farm and met her for the first time. And she turned to walk away, and her foot, she just had knee surgery, and her foot dipped into a divot in the ground and she tripped. But this woman's laugh is just the most contagious thing you've ever heard. She guffaws. Just brilliant. Oh, she's wonderful. Absolutely wonderful human being. So, I'll see if I can get her to get in touch.
Well, everybody doing anything online is helping with this. You're all doing, spread the word. Just spread the word. We have the power. Use their weapons against them. That's what this is all about. God has given us the tools. So it's just a question of us picking them up and using them. Yeah.
Perfect.
Right. Lovely. I can't wait to meet you. Best of luck with all of it. Everybody watching, take care. I'm back on live in a bit. See you later, Katherine. Brilliant work. You're amazing.
You too. Take care, my love.
Bye.
Bye.